What's up, guys? Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we're doing Part 6 of our Halo CE LASO run-through. So start this up. This is 343 Guilty Spark, and we're going to jump out of the Pelican to start. You can see there's a crashed Pelican to the left, and we're going to go up to that, but then kind of cut to the left a little bit, go to the left of that crashed Pelican, and we're just going to hug the right side of this hill at this point, and there's going to be an area. It's kind of a dead end, but you could actually jump on top of this rock right here that I'm looking at, and you could get to the top of it right about here, and then look up. There's kind of a lower spot on the wall here. You could actually jump up and get to that point, so you could skip the whole first part where you fight a bunch of jackals and grunts. So we skip those guys. You may have to do a crouch jump, so hold crouch after you jump, and you will be able to clear a bigger height or a higher height, and we'll be able to wrap up around here. Just hug the right side at this point. There's a bunch of Covenant that run out of this structure here. They are scared of something, who knows what. And you can see they actually took a couple shots at me, which is pretty rare. Usually they just totally ignore me and run away, but they shot me in the backside this time, but that's okay. We're going to activate the elevator. We'll get our shields back pretty easily down here at the bottom. So we're going to come to the first doorway, and there's going to be a bunch of grunts and jackals kind of lined up here in the structure I'm looking at now. So we're going to kind of poke our heads around the corner and just headshot a grunt real quick. And then once you kill that guy, you want to run to the opposite side of the room so you don't take too much stray plasma fire. You can see that grunt was shooting at me a little bit, but also, more importantly, so we don't get blown up by all of the grenades that are going off. And by grenades, I mean the grunts that are blowing up due to the grunt funeral skull. So there's going to be a big chain reaction, which will kill everybody. So back up, let that happen, and then we can move forward. And there's going to be 4 jackals up here. We want to melee these guys to maintain our shield. You can see my shield goes back up instantly with the black eye skull once I land a melee. So you want to try to melee these jackals as quickly and efficiently as possible. You want to try to single them out too. You don't want to be in a position where all 4 of them can be shooting at you at once, because that can take down your shield and health faster than you could replenish it. And also you want to make sure you're not taking too much fire from the enemies down below. There's a bunch of enemies, grunts and jackals down there, so they could also contribute to your shield and health going down faster than you want. So just be aware of them down there so you don't really, put yourself in a position where 4 jackals up on top are shooting at you, plus all the grunts and jackals down below, because that would not end well. So once you take out the 4 jackals up here, you can just pick out the grunts just with a headshot with the Magnum, and that will cause a chain reaction, and you'll be able to blow up all the jackals in the area. So it looks like this time around, these jackals didn't make it out of their little spawning spot here. Most of the time they make their way into the big room we were just in. But this time it looks like they were all in here. What you want to do if this happens, though, is make sure you stay on this side. You don't proceed to the opposite side of this little antechamber, because by doing that you'll trigger in the load zone for the next room, and then with all the gunshots going off, you'll get these jackals to notice you, these ones I'm looking at right now. So since I didn't move forward while I was killing those jackals, they didn't spawn in, and they didn't hear me firing my gun or the other jackals firing their guns. So they totally ignored me, just moved to the other side of the room, and I was able to just assassinate them and punch them in the back as I moved through. And this guy, you could decide to melee him and kill him if you would like to get some more pistol ammo, but that's not necessary, because we will be grabbing more pistol ammo and have a full pistol regardless of if we did that or not very shortly. So we're just following the pathway through the mission at this point. If you haven't played this too much, it could be confusing. A lot of the rooms look very similar, so it's tough to know which direction you should be going. But generally, you just want to follow the green doors. That's generally where you want to go, but there are sometimes multiple green doors in a room, so it is a little confusing. But we're going to go through here, and we're almost at the eerie cutscene where the Flood are revealed. And you can see I just passed by some health packs, so grab those if you need them. And there is a pistol on the ground right here where I am, right when you spawn in to the left, and also some assault rifles. So you should have full ammo for your assault rifle and pistol at this point, and you should have full health and shield from grabbing a health pack right before the cutscene there. We're going to go to the opposite side of the room. This is where the first group of enemies are going to spawn in. They are just a bunch of infection forms. So what I like to do here is just kind of let them jump onto me, because that kills them, and it takes down your shield a little bit, but I'm able to just kind of keep smacking them and maintain my shield while they kind of eat away at my shield. So I kind of cancel out their efforts there. So we're going to do the same thing over here. This is the second room that opens up, and it has a bunch of infection forms as well. And then there will be a third door that opens up and unleashes a whole other batch of enemies, and they are all infection forms once again. So you can see them opening up over on the opposite side of the room here now. So kill these guys, and then once these guys are mostly dead, you'll have the door open up that we actually came through to get into this room. So just kill these guys as quickly as you can. It doesn't actually matter how fast you do it, but just kill these guys, and then once the music picks up, you'll know that's when the door that you came into this room from is about to open up again, and it's going to be a bunch of infection forms, but also some combat forms as well. So what you want to do for that last group of enemies, the combat forms and infection forms, is kind of stay out of the sight of that door, so that when the door opens up, the infection forms pour in and attack you, but the combat forms will not, because they don't know you're in here yet. And then once the infection forms are clear of that door, you could wrap around the infection forms, come over here and throw a couple frag grenades into the doorway, and that will kill any of the combat forms kind of hanging out in the doorway there, and you can move through without much issue. And you want to make sure you turn to the right and go up this way, because there's a health pack up on top, possibly two if you didn't use one earlier, but we grab a health pack so we have full health and shield, and we have full ammo now. And from here on out, we're really just going to be running through the mission. It's pretty easy to do so if you know the layout of the level and where you need to go. At this point, we want to go down and to the right. Unfortunately, the door up top is locked on Legendary, so we have to go down here, and we'll be able to easily get through this section. So at this point, you want to go to the right because there's a health pack over here, and once you wrap up around the crates on the left, by going to the right, the flood forms down below kind of stop noticing you because there's some Covenant up top that kind of draws their attention. So you could easily jump up on these crates and make your way up here. You could hide behind here if you would like for a little bit. Sometimes you need to, sometimes you don't. And you could always just make a beeline for this door. You can see all the jackals fighting those flood forms down below. So we have the health packs right here. So even if you took a bunch of damage there, doesn't matter. We got health. You get a checkpoint right here. There's no enemies in this room with the cool, who knows what's going on in the middle of that room there. There's a bunch of electricity. But we're going to go to the elevator here, just make a beeline for this console, hit that control panel, and you will drop down further into the structure, unfortunately. There's more to go. Lots of Covenant blood, grunt blood on the walls here. Very ominous. But we're going to go down, instead of going to the left, we're going to go to the right, because there's actually, although there's a barricade not allowing us to go any further through the doorway, there's a overshield up on top here, so grab that, and then we'll go to the left side, which is the way we go to actually get through. Go through this door. To the right, there's camo, so grab that as well. So we have overshield and camo. You could make this jump. It is a little tough, but if you make that jump, you could kind of go into the doorway to the upper right side of the room. But if you miss that jump, which you probably will, you will be able to still get up there, but you just have to take a longer route. The benefit, obviously, to making that jump is you don't have to deal with as much of the level, and your camo kind of gets you further to the end of the mission. So we got a health pack here if you need it. Jump up here. And this is just the route you have to take if you missed that trick jump, which is what most of you guys are going to have to do, and myself included in this run, apparently. But this is good. It's better to show you, you know, what to do in case you screw up. So we're going to go through this door, and this is the room we were just in where I screwed up that that trick jump I was talking about. This is where you would get to if you made that jump right here at this door, so you'd be a little ahead of where we are now. But we're going to go down here, and we actually have to drop down. Just look for the green doors like I mentioned earlier. So you can see the green doorway is open here. Red means it's locked, so you can't get through. And we're just going to go straight across this room with the ditch in it and get through here. Just ignore all those guys. We have a good amount of overshield still. So we're just going to go through here. And then right when you get to this room, you want to look to the right, and there's a big kind of blocky structure here. Jump up on top and grab the shotgun. And there's also health up there as well if you need it. And then we're going to jump up to the second level and go to the opposite side of the room where the green door will open up for us. And we will get to this room. And I'm actually going to take this room slowly. So there's going to be a couple enemies up on the balcony over here on this side of the room that you come out on. So kill those guys with a shotgun. Activate the bridge. And I like to hang out over here. And be aware that the flood forms do like to reanimate sometimes. So I'm just going to kind of wait here a little bit. See if they pop up again. And then once you're safe over here, the enemies are not popping up again, you can turn your attention to the enemies on the other side of the room, and we're just going to lay into them with a magnum. We should have full ammo at this point because we didn't really need to use it at any point once we got full ammo right after coming out of that cutscene in the middle of the mission. So we're going to just lay into these guys. Don't feel like you need to save any ammo. We're really not going to use it after this. And you could actually just run through the middle of this room and speedrun it, but this is just a more conservative, easier way to do it if you're not comfortable doing that. And it's kind of like what we did when we came out of the cutscene and we were surrounded by those 3 rooms of infection forms, and then that door opened up with the infection forms and combat forms. Normally, if you're speedrunning, you would just kind of stay by that door and throw a grenade right as it opens. But by doing that, you risk, throwing a grenade and it popping back at you because you accidentally threw it right into an infection form as it was jumping at you. So it just makes it more reliable, even though it takes a little bit more time. So once you kill all the enemies on this side, just go across and use 2 frag grenades to throw into the room like that, or the next room through the doorway. So you kill all of those enemies that spawn there. and then we'll just go in here. You want to move through as soon as the grenades and explosions stop happening, because if you do wait, more enemies will spawn. So kind of duck in there right as your explosions are done, and then we'll be able to activate the lifts. Come up here, grab all the health and shotgun ammo you can, and we'll move to the left side as we come out of this structure. And there's going to be a bunch of flood, so just kind of buckle in. We're just going to hug the left side of this structure, or the hill, I guess, the hillside. And there's really not much else we're going to talk about in regards to this. We're just running. We're just running. Just getting our cardio in. But you should be pretty safe at this point. What you want to do is kind of ignore the enemies as they spawn. As we get up close to this kind of root-like structure up ahead of us, this weird plant type thing that we're going to go under, there's going to be enemies that spawn on the left and the right side of the kind of valley we're in. They'll spawn on the top and jump down on us. So I'm just going to ignore them, throw a couple nades right there, where I just threw that one because the enemies like to follow you sometimes. And I'm just going to cut to the left and continue to hug the left side of the map here. Normally you run straight out into the middle of the map here, which is where the structure is, which is where we need to go ultimately to finish the level. But I found that if you just kind of go to the left here, it's a lot easier. The enemies don't, surround you like they do if you ran out into the middle of the map, which makes sense when you say it out loud. But you can see there I was trying to avoid using my shotgun for as long as possible, because when you use your guns, it draws the attention of nearby flood. So I was just throwing the grenades. The grenades actually, for whatever reason, don't draw attention. They draw attention to the grenade itself, but not to you. So if you use your gun, they're going to look at you. If you throw a grenade, they're just going to look at wherever the grenade lands and blows up. So I was trying to avoid using my shotgun for as long as possible. But once you get to these two rocks right here, the big boulder on the left and the boulder on the right, I go through that, and there's a little hill right here. So on the right side of the hill here now, there's going to be a bunch of rocks. So at this point, this is where I like to cut into the middle of the map and go to the structure that we need to go to spawn the enemies in, or spawn the sentinels in, which will trigger the end of the mission here. But you can see this guy has spotted me now, and unfortunately he's going to draw all of the attention of the nearby flood to me. So I'm going to hope that the sentinels spawn in time and are able to help me out here. So if I was more aggressive in throwing grenades, when I threw that first grenade in this area, I should have thrown a bunch more follow-up grenades to make sure that no one followed me. But unfortunately, we all know that guy did, and I inevitably had to use the shotgun to get out of the bind I was in. So I'm just going to hopefully hide, which I did here. And the sentinels fortunately drew all the attention of the flood there. And in this mission, you actually spawn with plasma grenades, so that's why I have up to 4 in this mission. And I like to save them for the end here because they are much more effective at taking out the sentinels. So that grenade I threw at that group of flood was not only to, kill the flood, but also to hopefully kill the sentinels that were helping me out, because once the sentinels are dead, that triggers the cutscene. So we got that to happen here. That is the end of the mission. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time when we tackle the library on LASO. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, be sure to click on the scorpion icon to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You can also check out some related guides by clicking on the videos on screen, and you can find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Halo guides, and I'll see you in the next one.